Yeah, yeah. Fresh out the cell with a plan and a boo. Ain't clip beeping, but my heart's beating for you. Let's go. Met her on a prison pen pal site. She said you cute even in that orange light. Now I'm home and I'm free, kinda on probation. She picked me up in a Prius, pure elation. Got a teardrop tat and a heart full of dreams. She brought cupcakes and some government cheese. I said, girl, you a snack, maybe even a feast. She said, you just hungry cause you live with the beast. Love after lockup, wild and free. Got no keys, but she got the key to me. From yard time to FaceTime, look at us glow. From prison phone calls to reality show. Love after lockup, we don't play. Tinder got nothing on JPay. I did my time, now I'm doing hers. Doing laundry and love, both in spurts.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Love After Lockup, Locked Down, where we are covering Season 2, Episode 5. As always, you can find us in our Facebook group, Love After Lockup, Locked Down, or on our Instagram, LALU, Locked Down. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Lisa.
And this week's episode is Secrets and Cellmates. How you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm really hungry for some reason. I can't stop eating.
I was going to have some watermelon, but I think I'm going to save it for lunch. Well, it's going to be a late lunch.
I mean, I'm counting my calories, but I only have 200 left for the day. It's not going to get me far.
Some days be like that.
I might have to go over.
Just take a little extra walk, work it off.
Walking anywhere, and it's raining anyways.
It's raining here too.
2 people jumped off of the Niagara Falls observation tower within a couple days' time. So you just, society's doing great right now.
That's not great.
I don't mean to bring you down, but there is the decision from Congress on the big, beautiful bill coming up. It might have something to do with it.
I don't know. This week we're starting with Megan, Michael, and Sarah, and Megan is speculating on why Michael hasn't called her yet.
Yeah, he got out hours ago. He didn't call Megan, and she feels rejected. And we see Sarah and Michael are heading to his parents' house to meet with family and friends. I'm assuming because, this is his homecoming party.
Right. Michael tells Sarah that he can't wait to have sex with her. Meanwhile, telling the camera the whole time that he can't wait to have sex with Megan. So
I know. It just whatever he's said about Sarah up until this point, it just goes downhill, and I'm like, is this guy is he have multiple personalities? What's going on here? Because something really changes in what he's saying real soon.
I feel so bad for Sarah. I don't know. She married him while he was in prison. She was there with him the whole time, and everything he says to her is a lie.
Yeah, but you can only feel so sorry for someone who made a poor decision marrying a person who's done nothing but crappy stuff to her, and then in one breath will say that he's wonderful, and then in the next breath will say that he's terrible and he's probably going to cheat on her again. Then next time you talk to her, he's the most wonderful husband and dad ever, and it's like, decide. Pick
Pick a side, yeah.
a side.
If she finds out about Megan, and he tells us, he tells the camera that he has been cheating with Megan. And my mom asked me, she goes, do they think that the other person isn't going to see this? They're just saying things. I was like, well, it's recorded a year ahead of time. And I'm thinking that they just don't, they live in the moment at this point.
Yeah, they know that they have some time before the other person actually sees this. But in general, it's only a matter of time. You can only live a double life for so long before someone figures something out. But mom says that she knows about Megan and that
Right.
Michael's ladies man.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but she also kind of acts as if she doesn't like Sarah, or they just tolerate Sarah, I guess. And I'm kind of I don't know if you caught this, but they were kind of insinuating that it could be because she's white, I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't pick up on that.
No, I saw a few things from not only the mom, but like Michael as well, where is like kind of is like Megan fits more into their world than Sarah does. It, I don't know. You might have to watch it again to see what I saw and I caught. It was like really mild but kind of insinuated.
I really felt like his mom was unhappy about Megan and that he was doing that. There just didn't seem to be anything that she could do about it.
Yeah, I don't know if she was so that upset about it. I think it was just something she's just used to. And honestly, if the mom cared that much, she'd be telling Sarah. That's my opinion. Because if this were my son, I would definitely tell Sarah, I don't care.
Right.
You know, that's not
Why
right.
marry somebody so that you can, yeah, exactly. Why marry somebody that you are just going to cheat on anyway? Why bother getting married?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, if this were the case where, like, say, this, Sarah was a terrible person, she was awful to Michael, cheated on him, whatever the hell, bad mom, this and that, then I might be like, all right, Megan, this is a good idea. But then I'd be like, well, you need to leave Sarah and then be with Megan and stop,
Right,
like, living this double life.
right.
But that's not the case here.
No. Sarah goes to pick up his sister's boyfriend so that Michael can meet him. And what does Michael do? Immediately calls Megan on FaceTime.
Yeah, and he's saying things to Megan like, "Let me see that booty," and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I don't know. The funny thing is that even if he were to not be with Sarah and be with Megan, eventually, and maybe even right out of the gates, he's gonna do the same stuff to her.
Absolutely. If they cheat with you, they will cheat on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, there's not that there's ever really a reason to cheat, but I don't see one here. There's no like, what is your excuse? That's what I just want to know. Like, what's your excuse? Why are you cheating on her? What aren't you happy with? What happened? What's going on here? Like, why? I just think he's just cheating just for the sake of cheating because he's just a cheater.
It could be. It's weird to me what he tells her. Like he says that he's going to go see his PO and then he's going to New York and she asks him how he's going to get there and he tells her that Sarah's driving him, which I thought was a little weird cuz he lies about so much.
I know, and I don't know if you caught that mom's or Mike's mom actually says hi to Megan. She's
Yeah,
like, "Hi, Megan." Like, come on. Yeah, I mean, it's just like mom says that she's not gonna blow him out, but like then, Michael's literally telling Megan that I don't know what the hell is happening here. Like I feel like this is all just a fun game for him.
and Megan is upset that Sarah's driving him, which I would be too. And I would the series of things that Michael has done in this very, very short time are throwing red flags so hard that to stay in this, you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's not like these have been subtle clues that he's up to something. These have been blatant red flags.
Yeah. Like that guy on TikTok that like watches the videos, then like rides around and runs around with a giant red flag.
I think his name is Dustin Pointer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's on TikTok.
I don't know.
TikTok. He's got the red flags and the green flags.
Yeah, he's got the orange Tic Tacs too. Yeah, the green flags, but he doesn't do green flags very often, but he's pretty spot on either way.
Megan says she doesn't trust Michael quite as much anymore. And all I
Oh.
can say about that is it is about time.
But you know what? But I don't know if I really believe that. So we'll just see. We'll have to see.
Next up, Caitlin and Matt. And she says she wants 8 babies.
We find out that they neither of them has income, so she wants 8 babies, and how's she gonna afford those babies? Mom gonna take care of them, or she gonna go on public assistance? Like, what is happening here? I kind of thought she didn't have a job, and we speculated that, but we find out that she doesn't. They like have zero money coming in, neither one of them.
Right. And he's not super quick to want to get a job. He's mentioned
No.
before that he would like to enjoy his time out.
Of course, he's just a man child. He's never going to grow up. Mommy's always going to take care of him, or he can just go get back to prison and then he gets free everything. So, and he's
Yeah,
comfortable there. She said it.
he
So
said it
he's not
too.
scared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's not scared. It's probably a better life than because he just gets to go there and do nothing. You don't have to work if you don't want to. You know, if someone's constantly adding money to your commissary, which I'm sure mom is, or whatever other girls he's been talking to on the outside, why would you bother? Just wander around all day with your homeboys and then, eat, sleep, and work out, whatever.
They're on their way to see his mom, and she asks him if he's still mad because if you recall, he got mad at her when he was still inside because she decided they were staying with his mom. But he says he's over that now. Like he has a
He
choice.
is because he realizes that they have no other choice. What other choice do they have? They don't have any choice. And I would really love to know why she's not working. He does say he's basically been incarcerated the majority of his life since he's been 15. Juvie, boys home, prison, basically most of his life has been incarcerated. This is his life. This is what he knows. He says things like he used to jump out the window to escape, his home, and but it's not like he was escaping, like it was just because he was going to chase drugs, not
Yeah,
because anything bad was happening at home.
this is his third time out of prison, and like you said, he's been in for 6 of the last 7 years.
Mhm. Yeah, mom hugs him. She's, overwhelmed, but she's scared. And she said she's missed him, but she's used to this. This is not, and she's realistic. She knows, I feel in my soul, she knows that this is a very temporary.
Oh yeah, she says that. I mean, she all but says it. She doesn't say, "Caitlin, this isn't going to work," but his mom does say that within 8 hours, he does good for about 8 hours, and then he's off trying to score drugs.
But for me, I would also be concerned as to whether Caitlyn is going to be beneficial to Matt at all if I were mom right now. Because what does Caitlyn have going for her? What is her life? How is she? What kind of a life is she living? We speculate about her. At least we have behind the scenes about whether she also is using drugs or has in the past or what have you. But it's not looking good. And he said that for the first 8 hours that it goes well, and then like he'll just go and he'll leave and he'll chase drugs, and he knows that basically 8 hours is that threshold where he's like he's gonna go, and
Mm-hmm.
no one can stop him.
Right. He says he won't be controlled, and she
Yeah.
thinks that she's going to be incentive enough to keep him off drugs, which I think is a common theme we see throughout couples. The person on the outside is convinced that they're going to be enough. It's just like Clint Tracie.
hmm And you actually see the worry here and there on Caitlin's face as he's saying these things. You can see it in her face, but it's not like enough for her to wake up and go, maybe this isn't a good idea. But you can see it. Face is like trying to hide it for the camera, but you're not doing a very good job.
It's a mess. They start arguing, or like he kind of starts arguing with her, and then to me, it sounds like she's parenting him, like she's talking down to him, and it's
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm going to say is he talks about the 8 hours and everything. And I know, and we know by Lizzie, that you absolutely can get access to drugs and use and do drugs in prison. So he is probably been using in prison, and he is going to be jonesing real soon. And we'll just see what happens.
yeah, we'll have to stay tuned.
Mhm.
Next up, Scott and Lizzie, and she comes to his hotel room and kicks Adam out, which I thought was super rude.
Yeah, well, Lizzie is just rude in general and like literally has no idea how to act like an adult. She said
That's
that
true.
he, yeah, she needs him to go somewhere with Jasmine because we're just forcing these two to be together like they're like little kids, like go off and play with your sister.
I feel
Like,
so bad for
okay.
Adam. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like the weird, like, elephant in the room right now. And she's gonna do something for his dad. And basically, what she does is she just changes Scott and gives him a makeover to suit him more to her what she wants, which is just like, why would you do that to him? That's horrible.
Well, he's so worried that he pushed her away when he said he wanted everything to be real, that he said he was willing to do anything that she wants. He said, I want Lizzie to change me to see if she can do better. Not, I want her to change my looks, not my appearance, not any of those things. He said he wanted her to change him to see if she could do better.
But she's superficial and obviously materialistic and what have you. And of course, the first thing that she was going to do is change his look to make it so that she can stomach him. Basically, is what I'm getting from this. Like, imagine if you started dating a man. Put this in a woman's perspective, and he's just like, okay, well, we're just going to take you for a makeover, and then he changes your hair color, cuts your hair, and puts you in completely different outfit, and you look like a totally different person than he claimed to like. How would you feel?
Right.
That's what she just did.
She says she took cosmetology in prison, but she was kicked out because she was too high on heroin.
Yeah, this is looking good. She asked him if he's been conditioning his hair, and she wants to know why he's neglecting himself. Lizzie, he's not neglecting himself. This is how Scott looks, and this is how he has looked the entire time.
It's just who he is. She does say, though, that she in the past has only dated very attractive men and that they haven't treated her right. I don't feel like that is a good enough excuse to. I am all for makeovers if that's what they want, but I did not get the feeling that Scott was doing this because he wanted a makeover. I got the feeling that he was doing this in a desperate attempt to keep Lizzie.
Yeah, he's literally saying he didn't want this. Like, he said, "Not my beard," and, like, oh gosh, when she cut his hair, I mean, clearly he's been growing that hair for a while, didn't just grow overnight. In the fact that she said she used to date very attractive men that treated her like crap. Okay, let's pull that back for a minute. It's not as if all attractive men are just out to treat women like crap. You just happen to find attractive men that were crap.
Crappy men who are attractive.
Yes, exactly.
She says she doesn't find needy men attractive, and for the most part, I don't think anybody does. Well, I'm sure there is a group somewhere who does, but by and large, women don't find needy men attractive, and in turn, well, and also men don't find needy women attractive.
It depends, but, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but the whole time I'm, like, thinking, if you can do better, Lizzie, then just do better. Like, if you're out for a very attractive man who has money and who's gonna spoil you, then go get it, because if you can get it, go get it. Leave Scott alone and just go get that if that's what you can have and that's what you want. But guess what? I'm gonna say that that's not actually available to you like you're saying that it is.
Right.
So,
You're holding yourself up to a higher standard than you may really be at.
mhm. And she's not young, we know this.
Right.
And most superficial men like she's talking about, they're not looking for how old is she? She's like 40 or something like that.
I think
30
so,
late.
around there.
They're looking for women in their 20s, maybe maybe younger. They're looking for these sugar babies. They're not looking for a middle-aged woman that's a heroin user that's been in jail.
Who just got out. Yeah, exactly.
So get over yourself. Yeah.
She says now she looks for the heart instead of looks.
Right. Mhm. Yeah. And I wanted to throw up when she said she's very nervous about having sex with a man because she's had no sex with a man for 10 years. And they do kiss at the end, and she's even then she's like basically like, let me show you how to kiss. And I'm like, come on dude, like this guy has been around. He's kissed a lot. You're not showing him nothing that he's never seen before. She's just acting like he's a teenager and she's just showing him everything new and making him better. And it's like, what?
I hate to admit it, but he actually did look a lot better after she was done with his makeover.
He definitely did, but I still don't agree with her changing him when he didn't feel like he wanted to change anything.
And his answer at the end of all of this was if he loves a woman, he'll do anything for her, which included letting her cut his hair off and shave his beard. And yeah, it'll grow back. But he invested, like you said, he invested time into doing that. And that was the look that was him. And she's just coming in and changing him to be like a dress up, a doll.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with a man wanting and to do whatever he would whatever would how did what did he say he would do for her? He would do anything for her. He would whatever. I don't have any problem with a man wanting to do that for a woman saying I would do anything for my wife. I would do anything for my girlfriend. But where do you draw the line in that? You know what I mean? Where is it appropriate and where is it not appropriate?
Right. The self respect has to come into the picture at a certain point. And she says to him, what do you have, no self esteem? Or what do you have, poor self esteem? And he says, yeah, I have no self esteem.
Well, she doesn't either because she destroys her body with drugs and she lets herself be, basically used by men because if she thinks that men aren't using her, they definitely are. Because if that man is just giving you stuff for naked pictures of yourself or sexual favors or whatever, how much self respect do you have for yourself?
See, I feel differently. Like, I don't care if she wants to sell naked pictures of herself. I don't feel like that's a self respect issue. Some people just feel different. Like, they're fine with being naked. And I guess I just don't have a problem with sex work in general.
Sometimes I no, I'm okay. I don't either, but in her case, I feel like she's a mess, and I feel like she definitely is doing the stuff she's doing because she has no self-respect.
Could
So,
be, yeah.
if you're a true businesswoman and you're like, "Look at I know that I can make money off of this and at the end of the day, I feel good and I'm living an honest life and I have things and I don't need to get them from anyone else and I'm doing this for myself." And you're then a businesswoman. You're not sitting there using men for money. Do you know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's different. She's using men for money. I don't have a problem with sex work either. In fact, I think it shouldn't be illegal because that's crazy. But if you're doing it to for yourself, that's very different.
Next up, Marcelino and Brittany, and at this point, she has been out for 2 days. And they're having brunch with her friend, who was also her previous bunkie, and her name is Sasha.
I don't like the way Marcelino is acting at all, and I'm seeing, like, major red flags here. It's kind of scaring me a little bit because I know these types of things that he's doing. I've experienced stuff like that, and I know that it's not good.
He's being so unnecessarily aggressive. It doesn't even
Yeah.
make sense. Like, the constant little quips about her being late over and over and over. Like, we get it. You're upset that she's late. Move on.
What I'm seeing here is that he wants her to be his and only his and do whatever he says. He's being very controlling, and I don't see this as being a good thing. I'm not seeing good stuff coming out of this, and I just feel like there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna be behind closed doors that she's gonna go through that the whole world isn't gonna really know the whole story about.
Brittany says that Marcelino apologized to her after the last fight they had when they were at dinner, and she left and went back to the hotel room. So it's good that he did come and apologize.
Okay, it is, but if you have to constantly if you're constantly apologizing for the things that you're doing, that's a problem.
Right.
And once again, we have a couple that's straight out of the gates fighting, and that shouldn't be the way that it goes.
Marcelino's main complaint is that he doesn't want her around other felons because he doesn't want her to go back to prison. And although I do not like the way he is going about trying to quote unquote enforce that, I understand where he's coming from.
See, I thought that they said they were in jail together, not prison. I thought they said they were in the holding center together, which would be the jail. Maybe I'm wrong.
She can't be around other felons though. So that
No,
was
what?
the, I know they were in jail. Yeah, they were in jail together, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that Sasha's not a felon.
Um, but I think that one of your stipulations for being on parole is you cannot be around other felons.
Right, she's not allowed to be around other. It's not just like he doesn't want her to
Did you
be.
think did they say she's a felon, Sasha?
He
That's
said
what
that Sasha's a felon, and I believe that
oh,
Brittany said it as well.
oh, okay. Because I don't know, can you be in just jail and be a felon? You have to have gone to prison, right? In order to be
No, I mean you can be waiting sentencing, you could be in a
okay.
holding. There's a variety of reasons you could be in jail and still be on your way to prison. I mean, when people get
Yeah.
arrested, they don't generally go to prison. And I would think right away they would go to jail.
Yeah. I kind of feel like he's not gonna like her being around anyone. I wanna see how this goes. I don't believe him. I don't believe it's just Sasha or people who he feels are bad for her life. I wanna wait to see, but I wanna see if it's everyone in her life that's not him. I wanna wait to see before I make my decision.
That makes sense. He asks Sasha why she went to jail, and then again, he's just so rude to her. It's so unnecessary. Like you knew about her being in jail. So yeah, it gets so bad that Brittany is like tells Marcelino, "You just need to chill." You mean
Yeah, I see her a little scared, but I don't see her wanting to walk away scared. And I worry about that because I know she hasn't had a good life and she's had a lot of abuse in her life, especially by people who were supposed to love her, like her parents. So I'm worried for her at this point.
which is understandable because we don't know how deep this aggression runs with Marcelino, and he's so open about being as aggressive as he is. Like he'll do it in front of her friends. He has no problem being aggressive with Sasha, and obviously no problem being aggressive with Brittany.
Yeah.
He says there's no replacement for family, and Brittany disagrees, understandably, and she lays out some of the sad parts of her past, talking about growing up and there was no food in the house. They were selling drugs right out of the house, and it was so bad that when she was only 12 years old, she ran away from home.
Yeah, she talked about having to walk to shelters with her sister so that they could have food to eat.
That's a lot. I mean, 12 years old,
Yeah, she said that strangers are the ones that have helped her survive,
right?
not people that she loved, not family. So strangers were her family.
Exactly. They've had very different pasts. And I think diplomatically, Sasha says, wow, Marcelino's really intense.
Yeah.
They talk a little bit about Amanda, who Brittany had had a relationship with in prison. And
Mhm.
apparently, Amanda does not know about Marcelino. But Sasha wants her to tell him.
Yeah. They don't know about each other, I don't think. And she lives in the area. So they're going to meet up. So let's see how this goes.
Next up, we're back to Lizzie and Scott, and she's trying on dresses and getting Jasmine's advice.
Yeah, she said once she gets to know him, she'll want to be intimate with him. We'll see.
We'll see. I just think it's an excuse because she said that she wants to wait till she gets to know him. She wants to wait till she marries him. She wants to wait until this and wait till that. I think you're just not wanting to put out for everything you're getting. And she knew he had
Yeah.
that expectation. And we said it before. She waited until the last second to tell him, oh, by the way, and after your $90,000 investment, I'm not having sex with you.
Yeah, Adam sees dad and he says he looks younger, and that's about it.
But weird. Weird, but younger. Adam says he's still worried that she's only after his money, Scott's money. Well, to be fair, I also am worried about that, Adam.
Yeah, but little does Lizzie know Scott doesn't have any money. He spent it all on her and he's racking up that credit card debt. Adam says he does like Lizzie, but he definitely knows she's using his dad. And I don't know why then he'd like her at all. I guess he's only liking her, or I want to say tolerating her, even though he said like, because this is what his dad wants.
I'm sure. I don't think that he actually likes her as much as it's just he doesn't dislike her. Scott says sometimes he makes bad decisions, and I think that's true.
Yeah. He also says Adam does not actually know how much money he spent on Lizzie, and if he would have known, he would have stepped in and stopped him.
Which says a lot. He knows what he's done is wrong.
Yeah.
Lizzie asks Jasmine what she thinks of Scott, and Jasmine says he's not the one. She'll say anything to break them up. Scott is a creep, and he can get lost. How do you say this about somebody who is trying to? Well, you know what? I take that back. I understand somebody who gave your mother $90,000 for drugs, why that would be a problem.
I'd have more of a problem with the fact that my mother accepted $90,000 for drugs, to be honest with you.
Well, that's fair. That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, all so far, she has blamed her mother for nothing.
Right.
She has said nothing negative about her mother. Scott is the bad one, and I'm thinking this whole time, guess what? If there was no Scott, your mom would be doing the exact same thing with someone else.
Someone else.
This is so she's a good person. This makes her good. I mean, she'd be on the straight and narrow if it weren't for Scott. I probably not.
Lizzie says that Scott supports her and she wants to make it work. Well, of course you do.
Yeah.
Next, we're back with Tracie and Clint, and they are going on a date.
Oh man, he looks freaking crazy. I'm sorry. They both look like crazy people. They literally look nuts.
These two are a mess.
Like I they're cracking me up at this point. She Tracie gets in that bar and she immediately is just like acting like she doesn't even belong there. It looks kind of fancy and she's just acting like ghetto as can be and she's like, "I need a shot of tequila." And I'm like, "Man, and Clint says she looks elegant and I'm like, "No, she doesn't. That dress looks terrible. It doesn't fit her and it literally looks like you just picked her up off the street corner."
It looks like you're eating at Old Country Buffet. I mean, I don't know where you are, but it looks like it's way out of range of where you should be. And like you said,
Yeah.
particularly dressed like that.
Oh god. She was squeezed into that dress. Oh my gosh. But I mean, if I were her, I just literally would have been like, "Okay, I can't wear this. It's just too tight. Let's look for something else." They could have gone anywhere and gotten anything better for any amount of money.
I think she was trying to make him happy, but I agree. I mean, I guess because she could get into it, she wore it. But the whole time she was moving, she looked like a burrito and she looked so uncomfortable.
Oh.
I felt bad for her, but she looked ridiculous.
Oh god. I did notice though that she did brush her teeth. So she did have whiter teeth. She did look better in general in the facial area, but that dress was not doing her any favors.
Not her fault, though. We have to remember. I mean, like,
No.
that was
Ugh,
all him.
yeah. I mean, I would have been like, "Hey, wear this for me in the bedroom, not wear this out to a fancy restaurant." Like, come on, guys. He says she's the most beautiful woman in the world while looking insane. Insane.
She does. She looks like he just picked her up from prison.
Yeah, and he's like they're looking at the menu and he's like, $13 for mac and cheese. I'm like, "Dude, okay, it's 17 here and sometimes 20." And it had meat in it. I know it did because he said it. I think he said chicken or something in it. I'm like, "That's a steal, man. $13. Is that the kids menu?"
He spent $350 on lingerie, and you're going to complain about spending $15 on macaroni and cheese?
Yeah. Yeah.
She tells him that he's done a good job since picking her up.
He has. He honestly, except for that dress, but he said okay. I don't think he's gone out of the realm of anything crazy. I mean, this is her first night out. I mean, considering what other people have done, this is mild. This is really mild.
I agree. I agree. He
And
does.
honestly, Marcelino probably spent more money on what he did with Brittany. Yeah, that looked way more fancy and like he spent way more money, but I think Marcelino probably has more money. But in general, like wasn't extravagant, I don't feel.
Yeah. He says that if she can't move to New Mexico, then he will pick up and move to Texas to be with her. That's a big move.
Yeah, it is, but we know that he doesn't have much here where he is. He's working in a restaurant. We don't think he owns anything as of yet. We didn't see that he owned any house or anything like that. I think it would probably be he doesn't have any kids that we know of. I didn't hear anyone talk about kids, right?
No, he works in a hotel, but he does not have kids. He does have his parents there, though.
Yeah, but I don't feel like he has a whole lot holding him back. And eventually they can move back. He doesn't have to stay in Texas. I mean, I think it would just be like for the time being.
He says that he wants to trade in his Camaro and get a family vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, they talk about babies and I'm like, guys,
Bad idea.
stop. Stop.
We need like a flashing no babies sign,
Yeah.
that we can light up every time one of our couples decides that they should have a baby way early.
And once again, we're all ignoring the fact that she's a drug user. This is just we're like, is it anyone else here? We're just ignoring that. Like that's just a problem. It's gone. It's going away. It's never gonna come back. It's never gonna be a problem again. Everything's fine.
Unfortunately, that's not the way it works.
No.
You got that for life.
Yeah. He said he has to use the bathroom and he's trying to calm his nerves and he's in that hallway or whatever he is, the hallway to the bathroom, and he's looking insane again. And he's making me nervous.
He was smacking himself in the face, which was super weird, and like walking back and forth. Yeah, I was like, dude, you look crazy.
He does look crazy. He's got the ring and he's gonna propose, but and we know this, but we yeah,
Yeah, smacking himself,
he knew
jumping
that was
around.
coming.
We take a very quick stop in with Caitlin and Matt, where he's at the dentist to have his bottom tooth replaced. And they tell him it will be $5,000.
And I'm thinking, well, okay, you have no jobs, no money, no insurance, I'm guessing, and you're in the dentist gonna get a tooth implant and a consult for a tooth implant, and they tell you $5,000 for one tooth, which I was like stepped back at that because I really honestly I don't think it's $5,000 for a tooth, but I know it is. I have heard it's like $10,000 to have implants put in on just one, either the top or the bottom. So I was confused about the 5K for the one tooth.
Well, they'll still
I
have
mean,
to do the surgery to have a place to implant the tooth because they put in.
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking because that's probably with insurance if it would be $10,000 for one row of teeth because the insurance would pay some for the surgery is what you were saying. He needs the surgery because he's got a piece of tooth in there, right? Or the bone is deteriorated,
The
right?
bone is deteriorated.
Mhm. Mhm.
We jump right back over to Tracie and Clint, and he's still smacking himself and jumping around, amping himself up to go propose to her.
I just wrote he's doing weird stuff in the back room, and then when he walked up to that table, it was the first time that I saw what he was wearing, and I'm like, he's wearing like s- street thug clothes from the 90s. I'm like, what are you wearing? He's wearing a sweater. He's got or really really big jeans on. He's wearing a wallet with a chain, like he was going to like a emo concert or something. What are you doing? He's on the way to see Blink 182. Like, did you catch that? I was like, he's not even. dressed like an adult man.
I did see that he had a chain on his wallet. I didn't notice anything else about the way he was dressed, other than I thought that maybe he could have, I don't know, ironed his clothes, maybe.
I don't know, he had on huge clothes. They making it weirder because they both looked terrible.
So, do you think that his clothes have always fit that way, or do you think he weighed more and whatever he's currently going through, as suggested to us on Facebook, that maybe he has lost the weight and that's why his clothes all look so baggy and ill fitting?
I don't know, but we could probably do some research on what he may have looked like prior. I'm not on Reddit like you are, like doing research, but I probably should be.
If any of our listeners know what he's up to or if he's had any particular issues, let us know. You can find us on our Facebook page at Love After Lockup Locked Down.
So I want to say something about that. We actually have 3 pages for Facebook.
Mhm.
We have a group. We have a group that is called Love After Lockup Locked Down. That is where you would go to have discussions with us about random things, anything, basically anything Love After Lockup related, or anything pertains to, inmates or jail, or anything funny you want to tell us about, maybe even like podcasts you're listening to, whatever. Then we have a Facebook profile for that is Love After Lockup Locked Down. And then we have a Facebook page, which is LALU, um, Locked Down. And you can go to any one of those to get updates on what episodes are available. But in the group, that's where we want you to go to have discussions with us.
We're most active there and we'll get back to you pretty quickly.
Hmm.
So he proposes to her, and of course she says yes. And he then stands up and announces to the restaurant that she said yes, and everyone claps, although it felt awkward.
I mean, it definitely did. She says your ring is beautiful. They're like shining in the lights and stuff, and she just basically says what everyone would expect her to say: "I'm getting married, y'all." And
My favorite part was when someone asked how long they've known each other, and she was like, "Oh, well, we just met in person today."
yeah, we talked for 6 months, but we just met in person. And basically, it's just like the same thing. It's like, let's just tell the whole world, like, as if no one's gonna think we're nuts.
That's not weird.
Let's tell the gas station receptionist. Tell the lady at the flower shop. Let's tell the person at the jewelry counter.
The hairdresser.
Let's tell the hairdresser.
My favorite part about this scene was he tells her that he's going to be her first husband.
Is that true? Is that true?
That's what he says.
But do we know that that's true at this point?
That
Was
they
she
got
married
married?
before?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I
Oh, okay.
don't think she was married before. It's just a weird thing to say. Like, I'm going to be your first
I'm
husband.
gonna be your first husband. But then
Hopefully,
she's
your
like, "But I'm gonna be
last.
your third." Yeah, but I'm gonna be your third wife.
That's true. Yeah.
Um,
And he says he hasn't been with a woman in 2.5 years. I'm
he-
wondering if that was when he got divorced or if he's had girlfriends in between.
I just believe him. I believe he doesn't have the pick of the litter when it comes to women. Just a very bad way to put that, but I feel like it's probably a struggle for him.
He says he doesn't want to fuck, he wants to make love.
I wrote F in in parentheses. I forgot we're able to swear now because Apple finally allowed us to be rated explicit.
And like he sort of they start kissing and he sort of kicks them out, like he waits until his shirt's off and all that, but unfortunately they didn't disable the audio and they stick with them way too long so you can hear her moaning, and I'm like, all right, that's enough, that's enough, okay, this is enough. And it just kept going and going.
God, and it was just a notch less disturbing than Andrea and what can
Lamar.
I think of? Lamar. We can't I think of anyone's name today. Yeah, and then but I think that Matt and Caitlin take the cake for the level of disgusting. But I mean, the moaning I could do without. It was terrible.
Andrea will always have the moaning down. I think she wins on
Oh,
the most awkward moaning.
I just have this feeling we're in for a lot more awkward moaning as this goes on, but in for everyone because this seems to be the trend here.
I feel bad for the camera people who've got to follow them around while they're having sex and get as much of it. How much did they not air? Like, how much of your sex was on tape and they were just like, this is the most we can put on here?
Oh yeah, they definitely stood there for the entire time because they had to get everything. And they were instructed to do so just in case they missed something.
That creeps me out.
Freaking gross.
Next, we jump to Megan, Michael, and Sarah, and Megan says it makes sense that she would ride. Megan says it makes sense that he would ride with Sarah. Does it, though? She didn't even ask why Sarah was there to take him back. Why did she show up?
Now I think Megan's just trying to gaslight herself. This girl is going to just do anything to convince herself that this is a good decision, that she's made a good decision, and that he's not really a scumbag.
And he keeps showing her that he is, but she's just missing it. Yeah, this is when we need the red flag guy to be running back and forth in front of these women and men. I mean, not it's not just women who do this.
Yeah, I just, as we go further here, I just want to see, I can't wait to see what happens in how she's going to talk herself out of the fact that he's got a wife that she doesn't know about, though she knows about her, but she just doesn't know that they're
Yeah, she
married.
doesn't know that they're married. Sarah's just baby mama as far as she knows.
Yeah.
He said he wants to be with Megan, but he doesn't want Sarah to take Aviana from him. And I feel like he repeats the same line over and over and over again, but I have not seen any indication that that's something that Sarah would do. I feel like this is an excuse that is used by deadbeat parents so that they don't have to do what they need to do for their children.
Also, he didn't need to marry her in order to stay with her. So this is not adding up here because he could still be with her and not have married her. Why did he marry her? That's not a requirement in order for you to be in a relationship with someone and see your daughter. So I'm not buying it.
He's full of it. He is entirely full of it.
I feel like he's on a mission to make himself not look like a piece of crap here, and it's too late.
Yeah, it's way too late. He meets his sister's boyfriend, and this is when they start talking about how he is apparently a rapper, which we hadn't heard prior to this.
Yeah, but I'm not really surprised. This is what they all try to do. I don't know.
I'm thinking they just think it's easy money. Like anybody can do it and it's easy money.
That's what I'm saying. And it's really not. It's really hard to become famous. Everyone's out there doing the same thing.
Right.
It's really hard. It's just like podcasting. Everyone out there is doing a podcast. Everyone thinks their podcast is great. Everyone wants to be noticed. It's no different than being a YouTuber or being on social media in general and being an influencer or being a rapper or being a singer. There's a million great singers out there. There's a million great rappers out there. And the best you're going to do is go to karaoke night and impress some people. That's about it. You're a dime a dozen, basically. When he's talking to his sister's boyfriend, he's grilling him about how he treats her, and I'm thinking, dude, all right, the pot calling the kettle black here because you're sitting here with a wife and a full blown girlfriend, and you're wanting to know how this man is treating your sister when you have zero respect for women.
Exactly. And here is where we're going to address the elephant in the room. What in the hell happened to Sarah's accent? What is she doing? Where did this come from? Why does she think it's okay? What is happening?
I was just like, her tone just got, the way I wrote it is her tone got all white girl ghetto. And the entire time she has not spoken like this at all. And I'm thinking she's with Michael's family and all of a sudden she's talking like as if she's Sarah from the hood. And I'm like, what is going on here? She's full-blown Ebonics. And I'm like, okay, when does this become insulting?
It's it feels very racist, and I don't know
That's what
why. Like, she just cuts to it out of nowhere and seems to think that it's okay. And she does not speak that way in any other circumstances. And then suddenly this comes out, and it just feels so forced. And nobody seems to address it, though, which I thought was weird. But I'm sure this isn't the first time it's happened.
Yeah, anyone I've ever met that talks like that, it's just the way they talk. It doesn't come and go. It's not a thing where they just do it sometimes. It is just all the time, just the way they speak. And I'm like, what is she doing? It's just was so cringe. I couldn't take it. It was like making me want to crawl out of my skin.
He tries to leave, and she cries and asks him to stay. And she's like, "This was the first day you were out. I thought we were going to spend it together." He doesn't seem to care a whole lot about what she wants.
No. And she's saying that now that she's got him back, she's scared she's going to lose him. What are you losing here? Because again, once again, you got the kid. You have all the power to keep the kid away from him. We know this. He knows this. So what are you losing? There's a million men out there that are going to treat you better.
And anybody, yeah, pick one on the
Mm-hmm.
street. He's got
Mm-hmm.
to be better. And that wraps up the show. Who's your VIP this week?
I didn't think about this. I okay. I'm gonna go with an inanimate object, and I'm gonna go with Tracy's dress.
Oh, we are close
Because that
then.
thing was it was hanging on for dear life. I was waiting for it to split or ride up to where we could see her goodies.
I thought the same thing. My VIP this week was Tracy for putting on that dress, for just getting into it and going, I'm still going to go outside in public and people are going to see me wearing this.
I'm kind of happy that she was just like, yeah, this doesn't fit me and it's not good. At least she recognized it. Like Brittany with the green dress. But she didn't wear it.
I am glad that she didn't wear it. She's too pretty to
Yeah.
wear that. So that's about it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, head over to Apple or Spotify to rate and review. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our group on Facebook at Love After Lockup, Locked Down. Listen every Wednesday wherever you find your podcasts, and keep those notifications on to be the first to catch bonus episodes.
And in the meantime, don't fall in love.
And don't get locked up.
First date at Walmart, keeping it low. Told the clerk, don't judge me, I'm on parole. I brought roses, okay, 1 rose from a gas station. She said, aw babe, now that's validation. We be vibing in a halfway suite. Microwave dinners, romance elite. She my ride or die, she brought me a phone. Even snuck it in once, pre-release song. She hold me down like a key-o with charm. Except she don't mace me or twist my arm. We write vows in Sharpie on my court docs. Judge said no contact, but we beat the clocks. Love after lockup, cuffed and proud. Matching jumpsuits, now we rockin' the crowd. She said, don't mess up, I said, bet. Now we're TikTok stars with no regrets. So here's the love and second chance thrill. From a concrete bed to Netflix and chill. They said, don't catch feelings, but I caught a case of butterflies, girl, not just in one place. Ankle monitor beep. Oops, curfew gotta bounce.